Is Chelsea about to lose Koubaama? That is round the media at this point. A lot of media outlets are picking up this news, but I have not reported this news because trust me, it looks like an impossible task for Manchester United or for Chelsea to actually let him go. But there's another news that is ravaging Chelsea right now. Now, my question is Chelsea the most hit injury club in the whole of Europe? Right. Now, because this is what Lime Rizunua has to say concerning, the injury problems currently at Chelsea. Now, according to his press conference he made, just before the Crystal Palace game and all of that, he said, Lime Rizunua says Dário Essugo picked up a really unfortunate injury. He slipped in training and he will be out for a month. We called him Baby Caicedo before he came to Chelsea. Now, is it that we are seeing a baby Lavia? Because you cannot have two senior, yes, I call them senior because they are first team players. You cannot have two senior midfielders always injured. This guy just came to Chelsea in less than a few months and is already getting injured. Is this a mistake made by the Chelsea scouts, knowing fully well that there was a problem at Chelsea and going into the market to get yet another problem of injury problems right now from Sporting? I have no doubt, with how good he is. I have no doubt with his talent. I have no doubt with, what he can do on the pitch. But as a footballer, when you are not available, then your value drops. When you are not available, it's as good as the club can do without you. He is just coming to Chelsea and is already this injured, just like Roméo Lavia. Are we saying is already seeming like a bad investment? But there has to be a solution. There has to be a solution to these injury problems. Now, but there have to be a temporary solution to the absence of both Roméo Lavia and Dário Essugo. Because, trust me, we have just Caicedo and Reece James in that pivot, in that midfield. You need somebody else as a temporary solution to the end of the season. Now, who is that person that Chelsea are looking at to bring, to the end of this season? This leads me to this. Now, take a look. Chelsea, according to Fabrizio, he said Chelsea have now made an approach to sign Douglas Luiz on loan. Talks on the way. So Douglas Luiz from Nottingham Forest has been sounded as an ideal replacement that would help in terms of squad depth, for Chelsea going into the later stages of the season, the next 3-4 months to the end of the season. Now, is Douglas Luiz a bad player? No. He went to Juventus and it didn't work out at Juventus. He made a switch to Nottingham Forest, but currently he's not playing. He's been sat on the bench by Sondage. Now, I think, because trust me, he has already had, this is like his third coach already this season at Nottingham Forest. So, we will not blame him. The coach who requested for him has been sacked. Right. Now, Chelsea were interested and Arsenal were interested in signing him before he went to Juve. But Arsenal were more interested. So I would not literally say he snubbed Chelsea. Is he experienced enough? Yes. Does this fit the profile? Yes. He might not play all the games, but he's that player that can be a cover for whichever player, or for Lavia, or for Caicedo rather. I don't think this is a bad fit. Obviously, he's not playing currently at Nottingham Forest, and definitely he would want to make a switch, at least to play for Chelsea. Now, will this happen easily? I don't think so. Nottingham Forest might not just want to let go easily, knowing fully well that yes, they have an upper hand, because if they want to break the loan, Juventus has to pay and Chelsea have to pay, higher. Now, what is the negotiation like for him? It leads me to this next point. Fabrizio says Chelsea doesn't want any obligation for Douglas Luiz, only a loan deal with an option to buy. Or with a buy option rather. Now, Juventus wants to sell. Juventus wants to get rid of him. Now, it seems like he's not wanted at Juventus anymore. The coach does not rate him over there. Now, that's one of the reasons he was loaned out to Nottingham Forest with an option to buy, right? Now, for Chelsea, for Juventus, they want Chelsea to put an obligation to buy in this deal. And Chelsea just wants a dry loan. Bring me this player, for the next few months and I'm done with this player. Just like the way the Bonanote deal, just a dry loan. No buy option, no mandatory clause, no like Chelsea must not mandatorily buy him at the end of the season. Now, because this is not the kind of profile that suits Chelsea with the new ownership. The new ownership wants a young player who will definitely have a good resale value at the end of the day. And let's see how that goes. Which brings me to the next one. Now, it says because Chelsea does want a buy option. Now, according to Fabrizio, it says Chelsea made contact with Juve. That's in the last 12 hours. For Douglas Luiz. Club-to-club talk have started, but Chelsea wants to remove the obligation as part of the deal. They don't want to be forced, and if these conditions cannot be met, Chelsea will leave the conversation. I don't think Chelsea would bow down to this. Juventus wants to sell. Chelsea don't want to buy. Chelsea wants a dry loan. Now, I think this guy is quality. Remember what he did at Aston Villa? He was one of their best players at Aston Villa. He made the switch to Juventus in Italy, which did not go well for him. Doesn't mean he's not quality. Doesn't mean it might not fit the style of play or the profile in which you're looking for. Of course it does. But Chelsea will not buy him mandatorily. Now, Chelsea are looking at other options. Now, one of the options is the former Chelsea player N'Golo Kante and Ruben Neves in Al Hilal, two from Saudi Arabia. Now, according to reports from Saudi Arabia, it says Al Ittihad wants to revamp their squad, and Kante and Fabinho and also Benzema might be sold. Now, Fenerbahce are close to signing Kante, or are in talks to signing Kante from Al Ittihad. Now, will he want to come back to Stamford Bridge? That is a huge question. Now, for Al Hilal, they don't want a loan deal for Ruben Neves. They want an outright sale, which will cost a region between 20 million pounds. Now, I don't think Chelsea wants to buy. Chelsea wants a loan deal at this point. Now, for N'Golo Kante, it suits the profile brilliantly. Remember, this is a World Cup year, and every player wants to play at the highest level. Will Chelsea sanction this sale? Remember, this guy is earning a lot at Al Ittihad. I don't think this will work. I don't think Chelsea will want to pay huge when it comes to this salary, because he's not going to earn anything below half of what he's earning currently at Al Ittihad. Now, this brings him out of the equation. But would I have loved him to be at Chelsea? Absolutely. He would have been a perfect fit, for Chelsea. Right? Because trust me, he's still a quality player. In fact, France still invites him from Saudi Arabia to play. He played in the last Euro, so he would have been a perfect fit. But to me, I really, really do not think he would want to come back to Stamford Bridge. So Chelsea needs to find a solution and find it quick. Now, let me know what you think concerning that. Who do you think Chelsea should sign in that position as at now? Because the injury problems for Dário Essugo and for Roméo Lavia is really a huge, huge one. And Chelsea does not deserve that, because that is a very important position in football where you need availability at every point in time. Now, let's move to the next story concerning that. Now, the big one. Chelsea will not entertain, according to Ben Jacobs, Chelsea will not entertain a Koubaama sale despite links with a move to Manchester United. Why do Manchester United or the media just cook up these stories? I heard a story that he was homesick. I heard a story that he loves Manchester. He doesn't like London anymore. He wants to go to... People will always talk. Is this an impossible move? Not outrightly. Now, a player might be quiet, but he has agents around him. Like I said, there's no smoke without fire. Now, even if he wants to go to a club, the right club for him to go to is Manchester City. where he's guaranteed trophies, where he's guaranteed Champions League football every single season, where he's guaranteed first team football and that and a lot. All right. Now, if Chelsea owners continue mishandling the club and continue doing things that does not suit this kind of players, there's every possibility that it might open the door for them to leave at the end of the day. These are the untouchable players for Chelsea: Palmer, Caicedo, Reece James. Those are untouchable players for Chelsea. I don't think Cucurella also. I don't think there's any other untouchable player for Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez is not untouchable. He might leave to Real Madrid or PSG if the fee is right. Now, like I said, there's no smoke without fire. And I think the owners need to start doing things right. Because when rumors like this comes up, that means there is actually something cooking in the background that, at the end of the day, might want to unstable the player. So let's hear what, like I said, according to Matt Law, Captain Reece James and midfielder Moses Caicedo are likely to be among the new generations of untouchable. Like I said, also, Koubaama is part of that generation of Chelsea untouchables who the club have no interest in cashing in on. So, like I said, these players are untouchable. Now, more on this. Matt Law said, it has been claimed that Koubaama could become unhappy at Chelsea or look to return home to Manchester, but it has not been communicated by the player himself. I don't think this is a real news. I don't think this is true. That's why I don't really want to put more on this, because trust me, Koubaama is like Chelsea. Koubaama is Chelsea. Koubaama, Caicedo, Reece James, and Cucurella, you cannot easily buy them off. Right. So these are the kind of players that I don't really think it's possible for them to go, because if Chelsea would sanction a sale, then the club that wants to buy him would pay. Remember, he has a contract until 2033? So he has more than 6 years or more, in his contract, or 7 years rather in his contract. So I don't think he's a kind of player that will be easily sold. And if any club would want to play, they will have to pay through their noses. So that's why I'm not going to dwell on this whole situation concerning Koubaama, because I don't think that is true. Right. But still, there's no smoke without fire. Now to the last news for today. According to Sky Sports, it said Archie Pong has emerged as a potential target for Crystal Palace. In this window, no formal conversation yet, and it is unclear whether Chelsea would sanction a permanent sale in this window or allow the youngster depart on loan. For a player like this, who has interest from Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and now Crystal Palace, maybe majorly to replace Maguire, I think this guy is quality, right? In every club, it is good to have a youngster that is from the academy, that is traditional, that understands the core values of the club. And that is what we have in Reece James. It is good to have those kind of players in the team that understand what it means and represents the academy in Koubaama. For Archie Pong, one thing I love about him is versatile. He can play in center defense, he can play in midfield, he can play at right back. Now you need those kind of players in case of injury problems. You need those kind of players to learn off the senior players who are already in the team. You need this kind of players that understands what it takes to play for Chelsea. He might be young, but trust me, this guy is not injury prone. He has a good future ahead of him. He has a high ceiling ahead of him, and he's already drawing interest from the best of the best clubs in Europe. So it is best for Chelsea to keep him. Losing Maguire was hurtful, and Chelsea would not want to repeat that mistake. You would not want to lose a player that potentially has the kind of talents that would actually match up in future like Maguire. So I don't think Chelsea should sanction this sale. If he wants to get more playing time, to me, I think he should just go on loan, probably on a dry loan, 6 months dry loan, thereabout, or a year dry loan, and come back fulfilled. There are a lot of players who went on dry loan. Before Maguire became that starter for Crystal Palace, he went on a dry loan to Swansea City from Chelsea. Before Reece James became that player for Chelsea. He went on loan to Wigan, in which he established himself before he came back. So if these players are yearning for minutes, which minutes is what develops a player. Now, if he goes on loan and become that player, it might be a 2-year loan, it might be a 1-year loan, to really develop himself and become that player that will suit and start for Chelsea, then I'll sanction that. But if it's to let him go at this point permanently, I don't think it's the best thing to do, because he is that player that has a bright future ahead of him. And that's why I'll always rate Archie Pong. Versatility is good. He's strong, he's technical, he's fast, he's calm under pressure, and he's press resistant as well also. So I think it's a very good one if he's attracting interest. But to let him go would be a very, very huge mistake for Chelsea. Let me know what you think about that. Should Chelsea let him go? Should Chelsea let him stay in the team? Share your thoughts in the comment section. And let me know what you think about all the stories as well, concerning the Koubaama story, concerning the midfielder that we need in replacement and all of that. Also, let me know what you think about that. Tomorrow I'll be dropping the video for Kim Min-jae, who Chelsea have added to the shortlist of defenders that might, Chelsea might want to buy in the summer. I'm going to drop that video tomorrow. So let me know what you think concerning all of this. If you're new to this channel, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, please. Subscribe to this channel. Always share your thoughts in the comment section and like this video. Until I come your way again next time, I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool. Cheers.